Good afternoon, students. Could you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay. So we shall move on to the lecture today. So in the previous lectures, we have been discussing about the fibers that is used as a reinforcement in the composite manufacture. We have been discussing about the number of fibers, high performance fibers like glass, carbon, boron, and then aramids. So now we shall move on to the last two fiber, which is called the ceramic fibers we will discuss. So this fiber is a different type of a fiber which you have not learned so far in the man-made fibers manufacture. You have not learned this fiber, so we will see this fiber in detail. So what does this word ceramic mean? So from the historical perspective, if you see, this word ceramic has derived from the Greek term called keramos, which means potter's clay, or you can say keramikos means clay products. So if you see from the 1950s, most of the ceramics were the traditional clays, which is made into pottery, bricks, clays. So it is called the potter's clay. And if you see in the historically, if you see many ceramic art materials or artifacts, they play an important role in the technology and culture of the people, like any kind of a pot or some utensils, those things. People have been using the ceramics for centuries. So what is the ceramic basically? It is a inorganic non-metallic material. Okay, it is not a metal, but it is an inorganic material. Okay, and it is often crystalline. It is a completely crystalline kind of a material. Okay, it is an inorganic in nature. So before going into the manufacturing part of the ceramics, just know this comparison between the ceramic, metal, and the polymers. Okay, if you see this density of the ceramic, it is low when you just compare it with the metal, but polymers like textile materials, the density is lowest when you make a relative comparison among these three. And hardness, if you see, the ceramic has a very highest hardness, and metal has the low hardness, and polymer has the lowest hardness. Ductility of the metal is very high, but for the ceramic, it's low. And for polymer, the ductility is high. And wear resistance, that is abrasion resistance, it is high for ceramics and low for metal and low for polymer also. And corrosion resistance is high for ceramics and low for metal and low for polymer, because the rust formation is more prone in the metal but not in the ceramics. And thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity both are low for ceramics. So it is a very highly heat resistant or fire resistant fiber. If you like an asbestos, this material, if you heat to very high temperature, it can withstand that temperature. So it is thermal conductivity is very low, and the electrical conductivity is low, which can be used as a good insulator. Okay, and metal, when you compare it with the metal, the electrical conductivity and thermal conductivity is very high, and polymer it is low when you compare it with the metal. But ceramic, it is the lowest when you see compare with all these three. So ceramic, I have already told you, it is an inorganic non-metallic fiber. Okay, so if you see, these are called the polycrystalline, highly crystalline refractory fibers, okay, which are mostly used in kilns or
हेलो सर
yes, pardon, yes,
सर आपने स्लाइड चेंज की क्या सर? एक ही स्लाइड दिख रही है
एक ही
सेरामिक
slide.
फाइबर की। हाँ
No,
पिछली बार भी वैसे ही है सर। यूट्यूब लेक्चर आपने यस्टरडे लेक्चर का अपलोड किया ना, सेम एक ही स्लाइड दिखा रहा बाकी
कैसे
में।
ऐसे अच्छा, बाकी
हाँ
लोगों को भी
अभी
ऐसे हो रहा है क्या? For other
Yes,
students
sir.
also,
Yes, sir.
means now what slide you are seeing? What slide now you are seeing?
यस सर नाउ
Huh?
ceramic fiber.
But this slide, did you see this slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is showing?
Properties.
Comparison of property of
Comparison.
But previously you did not see this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir means what? Did you see or not see?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Not sir.
Okay, so some connectivity problem may be there. I will do one thing. Whenever you face a problem, immediately tell me so that I will now change it. Now, can you see?
Yes, sir.
Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
now?
Now it's
Okay. Okay. If you face a problem, just tell me so that I will just stop and then make it. Okay. So, what are these ceramic fibers? They are polycrystalline refractory fibers. They are composed of what are they? What is mean by this word called refractory? Refractory is something like where something you use at a very high temperature. Okay, like a place where there is a very high heat is there. That place is called the refractory, where when you use it for any kind of the place where the very high temperature exposure is there. Okay, so the refractory material, it is basically an inorganic, non-metallic, porous, and you can say it is a very heterogeneous type of a material. Okay, so in for example, if during the places where the bricks are manufactured or the clay is converted into pot, you apply a very high temperature. That place is called the refractory. So if you see this refractory, it is something like a these are materials like a furnace or kilns or say incinerators where there is a huge temperature exposure is there. Okay, so these ceramic fibers are polycrystalline refractory fibers. They are what do they contain? They contain the metal oxide. Okay, it's an inorganic metal oxide, metal carbide, metal nitride, or other mixtures. Okay, and what is the use of this ceramic fiber? They are mainly noted for their high temperature performance. Okay, so it is thermal stability is extremely high. Okay, so where they can be used? They can be used in the metal and the ceramic matrix composites. And if you see, these materials are hard, brittle in nature. They are low density, high compressive strength, and a good thermal resistance, and very high strength, retention of strength. Even if you heat to 2000 degrees centigrade, it can remain without getting any effect on the temperature by the temperature. Okay, so can you see the slide now? What slide you are seeing now?
Ceramic fiber.
Can't you see other slide? I have actually moved on to next slide. Can't you see?
No, sir.
Okay, can you see now? Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Now,
What slide?
How are ceramics fibers produced?
Okay. If I make a big screen, it is not showing. Okay, now I will teach like this itself. Okay, so the ceramic fibers, how they are produced. Okay, how to produce these fibers. So the raw material, you have already learned. The raw material used for making this are the metal oxide, metal carbide, metal nitride, or other mixtures are used as a raw material to produce these fibers. But then how do you manufacture these ceramics? So the process is this fiber is something completely different manufacture when you compare it with the other fibers, conventional thermoplastic or textile fibers. You see, this fiber, it is manufactured through process called powder compaction and sintering. Okay, see, for example, you have some metal oxide type of a process called powder compaction and sintering. Okay, see, for example, you have some metal oxide type of a metal oxide or metal nitride type of a powder. If you are having those powders, you will take and then compact them. Okay, and then you do the sintering. Okay, what is this sintering? It is a process by which a material, when you subject it to a high temperature without reaching its melting point, you apply some pressure to convert it into a solid. Okay, just I will repeat once again. You take a material and heat it to a very high temperature without reaching its melting point. You give a pressure, so that what will happen? The material, the atoms or molecules which are present in that material, they will just combine and fuse together to make a solid. Okay, so if you just observe, these are the raw materials like a powder particle. These are compressed and simultaneously a high temperature is given, means high temperature in the sense without reaching the melting point of that particular metal oxide. So what will happen if you see the pore size is very high here, it is reduced here, and finally it becomes compacted. Okay, this is how the this fiber is produced. Okay, but if you see, if you produce a ceramic fiber, something like a pottery clay or some type of a solid material, you get, that is the ceramic fiber, which is solid. But is it possible to make a fine fiber? For making a fine fiber, this conventional process which is used for making the ceramics, which is practiced, the process, if you observe for the potter's clay how it is produced and compare with this process, we are not actually we cannot make a fine fiber from this. This is something like a rigid solid material which you get, where you subject a powder particles and then give some compaction and do the sintering with a high pressure and high heat. You make a solid, you get the ceramic fiber. But though this is a fiber, it is not a fine fiber. For example, if you want to make a composite from this, or if you want to make a fabric from this, if you want to make a woven cloth from this, if you want to make a roving type of filament from this, it's not possible. Okay, so the conventional spinning and drawing is also not possible. Just when, for example, if you take a polyester fiber, polymers you can just melt and do the extrude them in the spinneray, do the drawing, you can get easily, you can get the fiber, and with the orientation you can get all these are possible. But these things are not possible to do with the ceramics because the melting point is very high. It is around exceed 2000 degrees centigrade. Then how to make these fine fibers from this? One thing which I have told you is you can make this ceramic solid structure, you can make, but is it possible to make the fine fiber? That we need to see. Okay, so here the problem with the ceramic fibers is, if you see, these fibers have a low strength. Okay, if you see this fibers, if you just to make it into a compact solid, though in general we can say that the fiber hardness is higher, density is lower, and abrasion resistance is higher, this fiber will break actually. Okay, it will break because it is a brittle material. Okay, so how to change that? How to change it into a fine fiber where you can expect an improvement in the strength? How that is possible? That is possible only if you just do some change in the process. Okay, so this bulk ceramics, this is the bulk ceramic which you have just seen here, where the powder particles are compacted and sintered to make a solid. This process will not yield the fine fibers, as I have told you. So this ceramics, when you want to transform it to fiber, for that what you need to do, you need to convert it into some submicron grains. You just need to convert into small piece of grains, you need to convert. Okay, so this bulk ceramics, to convert into the fine filaments which is composed of submicron grains, there are some two processes that are you need to understand for converting the bulk ceramics into fine fibers. One is called the direct process and another is the indirect process. First we will see the direct process. So here what you do is, you do not do the normal ceramic manufacturing process like a bulk compaction and sintering. Here what you do is, you take the metal salt solution, or you can take some melts, whatever precursor melts are there, and then you heat them, and then you do the pyrolysis for a short time, just like a firing. You just apply some heat treatment and then you do the firing. So first step in this direct process manufacture is, you need to make the spinning dope. Okay, spinning dope means what? Molten solution. Okay, it can be a molten solution, or it can be a sol, like a colloidal solution, or it can be a salt solution which contains some coarse ceramic particles. It can be an inorganic polymer or molecularly dispersed polymer or colloidally dispersed precursor. Like this, you need to make a solution, either a molten solution or a sol or a salt solution, and then you need to do this direct process. I will just show you a flow chart so that you can understand how this process is done. First, you make a precursor system. Precursor means something like a raw material. Okay, raw material here for this ceramic fibers is the metal oxide, metal nitride, or others type of metals you can use. Okay, so if you just recall our first slide, you can see the metal oxide, metal carbide, or metal nitride. These things can be taken. Okay, it may contain, if you see ceramic, it's an inorganic material, but you can just mix some organic components also during the manufacture, so that you can prepare a pre-ceramic precursor system. Okay, it is called the pre-ceramic precursor system, which contains a metal oxide solution or the precursor melt, and then you do the spinning. Okay, when you do the spinning, what will happen? It will produce some intermediate precursor fibers, and from that precursor fibers, you will do the pyrolysis or sintering. Means within a very short time, you apply both the pressure and also at a very high heat, like a fire, like a thermal shock you are giving, so that you will obtain the ceramic fibers. Okay, this process is different from the process which you have observed to produce the bulk ceramic. In bulk ceramics, directly you take the powder particle, you just apply the pressure and compaction, high temperature, you get a bulk ceramic. But here you transform the precursor material into a solution in the form of a colloid or in the form of a sol, where it contains some colloidal type of a solution that you will do the spinning. Okay, just you do the normal type of a spinning process, like a melt spinning you do, and then you get an intermediate precursor fiber. That fiber you do the pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is something like a heat treatment, where you give a heat treatment with some pressure. Okay, either you can do the pyrolysis where you give a short time heat treatment like a fire shock, or you can do the sintering where you can apply the heat and pressure simultaneously. You get the ceramic fibers. Okay, this is the direct method to produce the ceramic fibers. But there is another method. We will see both the methods so that you can understand better how the ceramic fibers are produced. The purpose of changing the process for manufacturing this fiber is through this direct or indirect method only, you get a fine fiber, because our target is to produce the fine fiber. Because with only the bulk ceramics, you cannot make a woven cloth, you cannot make the any kind of a solid material, any kind of a woven roving or some sheet material or cloth. A two-dimensional structure cannot be produced. Okay, so there is another method called indirect method. Okay, in the direct method, what did you observe? You prepared a sol, that is the molten solution, metal oxide solution. You just spun them, make the intermediate fiber, you do the pyrolysis, you obtain the ceramic fiber. But here you are not doing the spinning. Okay, so you do some other process which is called the indirect method. Okay, so for this, what you take the fiber, which is the fiber in the sense here, the metal oxides. Okay, you take the metal oxides and then soak them in the precursor material. Okay, you take any kind of a substrate and then soak them in the precursor material, any kind of a solvent, you just soak them, and then you deposit it on the surface of that, like you have observed for the boron fibers, the same process, like a chemical vapor deposition. You just take the template fiber and then soak it in the precursor material, so that precursor material will just deposit over the template fiber. Just recall of your understanding on the boron fibers. You just took the tungsten wire, and over that the boron fibers, how it got deposited is through the chemical vapor deposition. The material, when it reaches a very high temperature, it evaporates and then it will deposit. Okay, then after that you do the pyrolysis. After that you do the pyrolysis or a thermal shock you are giving where you apply some heat and pressure to the process so that you get the fiber. Okay, just for your understanding, you see this is the template fiber. Okay, this is a template fiber, just like a tungsten wire you use for the boron fiber manufacturing. So here this is the metal salt solution. Okay, so just you see this is called the organic substrate or the template fiber, and you soak it in a precursor material. Precursor means, as I have told you, it is the raw material. Okay, you take the raw material and then make a solution, and you just dip the precursor fiber. Okay, so once you do that, what you can do is after you do that, you just subject it to chemical vapor deposition. There are two ways you can do it. Either you can do the just coating and dipping method, where you just keep the material in the metal salt solution, and then you do the sintering directly you apply the thermal shock. Okay, like a firing you can do with some pressure also you can apply, so that what will happen, you can produce the ceramic fiber. Okay, whatever metal salt solution you have prepared in the form of a colloid or in the form of a salt, so that will get deposited on the template fiber. Otherwise, how you can do this process is, there is an alternative also. For example, you see this is the chemical vapor deposition method. Okay, you take the template fiber and just apply and then send it through a highly vacuum kind of a chamber. Okay, this chamber will contain a high vacuum with a very high temperature. Okay, and whatever chemical that is a precursor material you are using, that you need to send it in the vapor form. Okay, like boron fiber manufacture, what did you learn? You use a boron trichloride and the hydrogen gas, so that you heat them to high temperature, so that the vapors whichever is sent inside that boron got deposited on the structure. Okay, similarly what you can do is, instead of using the coating by dipping, you can just subject it to the chemical vapor deposition chamber, so that this template fiber, over this template fiber, whatever metal salt solution you have used, those fluid will get evaporated and the metal salts, everything will just get deposited. Okay, so that this is called the chemical vapor deposition. Through in the form of a vapor, those metal salts get deposited over the surface, over the template fibers. Okay, and this is carried out in a high vacuum and high temperature. Okay, so in both the ways you can produce the ceramic fibers. If you just compare the difference between these two processes, if you see in this process, what will you do? You did the spinning, you directly prepared a solution like a spinning dope. You did the spinning, and that intermediate fiber, whichever is there, that you applied the sintering process or the pyrolysis process, so that you produce the fiber. But the difference, on the contrary, for this process, what did you do? You make the fiber through the chemical vapor deposition, where there is a chamber where there is a very high vacuum is there, and you subject you prepare the precursor solution, and then you subject it inside through the vapor form, so that it get deposited over the template fiber. Otherwise, you do the coating and dipping, and in both the cases, you do, for both the direct and indirect process, you do this sintering. Okay, so if you just compare it over the bulk ceramic production, this is definitely different, because in bulk ceramic production, you do not do anything. You just do the compaction and sintering. That's all. Okay, so the pore size of that, it is reduced, so that atoms and molecules, whichever is there, that get fused together to form a solid structure. Okay, so this is how you produce the ceramic fiber. Okay, there are a number of ways you can produce. For example, commercially, if you see, there are many methods are available. For example, if you want to produce the method in the form of a different state. For example, if you want to produce like sol gel process. Sol gel is one of the low cost, commercially used process to produce this kind of fibers. This is possible to produce using the sol gel method. So if you observe here, how you just see this stage, just to see from here. Here you prepare a metal alkoxide solution which contains a metal alcohol and some oxides solution you prepare, and then what you do is you just do the hydrolysis and polymerization, so that what will happen, you get a sol like this, like a gel form. This metal alkoxide solution, it is converted in the form of a gel. Okay, so here what you do is you subject it to the pyrolysis, where there is a furnace and a very high heat is there, with the pressure is also there. You subject it to the pyrolysis process, so that what will happen, this metals, whichever it is, you can see some small circle you can see here, which is some sort of a sol in the sense, some sort of a gel like material. Okay, so here this colloidal solution, which is like a gel, what will happen is it will contain some particles, some discrete particles it will contain, so that you do the, either you can do the spinning, you do the spinning and then you subject it to the furnace where you do the pyrolysis. For a short time you apply a very high temperature with pressure, so that you produce the ceramic fibers. Whatever fluid is there, that will get evaporated. Okay, the liquids whichever is there, that will get evaporated. That is one of the way you can produce this process. The liquid can be, for example, there are various ways how you can remove the liquid after you manufacture. You can remove the liquid through any kind of a process like sedimentation, or any kind of a centrifugation, where you separate both the solid and the liquid phase. Okay, so this is also one of the way you can produce the ceramic fiber, through the sol gel process, one of the traditional way of producing this fibers. Okay, so through this furnace the drying also takes place. You see, because of the drying, what will happen, whatever liquid is there, that gets evaporated, and the solid materials they form, and you make a compacted type of a fibers you can make from that. Okay, so this is one of the method. And other method, if you want to produce, because there are various ways these fibers can be produced. For example, if you want to produce some type of a zero gel film, these are not that useful for you, but just to know it for your understanding. If you just take this metal oxide solution, just to use it as a coating over any kind of surface like a tungsten or any kind of surface, then if you just apply it some heat, so that some dense film can be formed. Okay, like a zero gel, where it will contain, where the liquid, everything will get evaporated, and then you form a film over the surface. That is also a ceramic type of a structure, ceramic film you can produce. Or if you want to do some other process to produce the dense ceramic, that is also possible, which you have seen in the previous slide, like where you make the sol. Okay, you make a sol, so that you convert it into a wet gel, and then you evaporate it, so that what will happen, all these materials get fused together to form a compact structure. You heat them so that you will get a dense ceramic. But normally you see this dense ceramic, it is not useful for making the fine fibers. So in that case, what you do, it is better to go for the direct process by spinning and then pyrolysis and sintering, or you can do the chemical vapor deposition or dipping and coating. Okay, these two are better. Okay, so there is another alternative also to produce this fiber. You can make a sol, and then what you do is you make a wet gel from this sol. Okay, so which contains some clusters of these particles. So whatever solvent is there, you can see that this brown color, which you can see, these are the presence of the solvents. That solvents, you remove it, so that other spaces wherever the solvent is there, that will contain some gas. It will form an aerogel. The aerogel is a type of a material, like an insulating material, which you can just learn, just like a thermal insulator, where you can heat it to a very high temperature. It will not undergo any change. It will be a perfect insulator, where here the fluid, instead of the fluid which is present, that space will be occupied by the gas and the particles. Okay, so there are several ways you can produce the ceramic. Just I am outlining many methods. So for the mainly what you need to learn is these ceramic fibers can be produced by what type of a precursor system, and what is means how it can be direct method, through the direct method how you can produce, or through the indirect method, just by doing the chemical vapor deposition or dipping and coating, how you can produce. These are the different ways of how to produce the ceramics. Okay, so we shall proceed further. See how these fibers are classified, that we need to see. See, these fibers are classified based on the chemical composition. Okay, means the raw materials whichever you are using, they are chemically not the same, they are different. So these fibers can be classified based on two categories. One is based on the oxide based fibers or non-oxide based fibers. Okay, if you see oxide based fibers, what are they? Silica fibers, alumina silica fibers, alumina zirconia fibers. All these are the metal salts, metal type of fibers. And if you see the non-oxide fibers, it is silicon carbide, silicon carbon nitride, and silicon nitride, where here the oxides will be absent. Okay, that the oxides are present in the previous one. So all this process, if you see from the broad perspective, these fibers can be produced through either one of the route, whether by spinning, extrusion, and pyrolysis and sintering, or by dip coating, or through the sol gel process which we have seen. So any one of the method can be used to produce this. So let us see from how these oxide fibers are manufactured. Okay, so this oxide fibers, if you see, they are mainly used for insulation and reinforcement for their refractory properties. Okay, for very high temperature applications. So if you see this oxide fibers, they are mainly divided into three classes. As I told you, one is the pure alumina fibers. If you use the pure aluminum, you can make the ceramic fibers which are based on oxide, which is in the form of alpha Al2O3. That is one of the form. Or aluminum silica fibers that contains both the alumina and amorphous silica. Here you see it is a highly crystalline phase, but here you mix with some alumina silica, so that will consist of mixture of both the transition alumina and amorphous silica. So both of them you mix. And third one is the alpha alumina zirconia fibers, which contains the beta. These are the different phases of aluminium. So that there are three different ways you can produce. You can mix the beta aluminum oxide and then with the zirconium oxide. So that there are three different composition classes. Commercially, these fibers can be produced through the oxide fibers route also. Okay, so here if you observe how this fiber is produced, for example, oxide fiber manufacturing, if I want to make an aluminum oxide based ceramic fibers, if I want to produce. So this process we observe, you can easily understand from here. So how it is produced? It is produced through the spinning and heat treatment route, which is the direct process you are producing. So you take the aluminum oxychloride. Okay, aluminum oxychloride you take, and with that you add some rheological aid. Rheology means which will actually make the solution thicker. Okay, which will increase the viscosity, flow properties. Those things you mix so that you get a formation of a syrupy solution, like a syrupy solution in the sense like a slurry. Okay, like a slurry you make. That slurry you just extrude it in the air to make the fiber. Just the extrusion in the sense here you are doing the spinning. Okay, then after that what you do the heat treatment, which is called the pyrolysis and sintering, where you apply a very high temperature and the high pressure. Okay, at this situation what will happen? whichever present apart from that metal, that will get removed. For example, chlorine you get removed, and water you get removed, and finally you get a anhydrous alumina phase. Okay, without any kind of a water or any kind of a chlorine, an anhydrous phase you get. Okay, so here only very few amount of silica will be left, so that you get a fibers of around 3 micrometer. Okay, the fiber will contain predominantly of alumina and high porosity are obtained, and they have a high modulus of say 100 gigapascal. Okay, so why we are actually learning this, why we are doing this thing? Already we have the bulk ceramic, how we have learned, and process we have learned. Why we are learning this? Because here the thing is, we want to produce the fine fiber. Okay, that is why this word, this word fibers of diameter 3 micrometer, why it is mentioned here? Because through this direct or indirect process, when you do the manufacturing, you get the fibers with the fine diameter. Because without this fine diameter, you cannot make the fiber, you cannot make the woven cloth of ceramic, or the roving or other forms you cannot make. Okay, so the advantage you derive is you use a raw material called the aluminum oxychloride, and these rheological aids you mix it, so that what will happen, you get the fibers with the fine diameter. Okay, this may not happen when you do the normal process where the bulk ceramics are produced. Okay, so like this, there are other processes also, which we will learn in the further lectures, how these fibers are produced. Our main target is we need to produce the fiber with a fine diameter, modulus, strength, without any kind of a creep property, how to reduce the creep property to make the ceramic type of a fabric. Okay, because this fiber is a little complex fiber. This is not something like where a textile grade fiber, where you can usually make the filament and convert into yarn, filament and convert to fabric, do the drawing, whatever process, and make the fabric very easily. This is something, a very complex kind of a inorganic crystalline fiber. Okay, so how to make the improvement in the fiber diameter, those things we will see in detail in the next lecture. Okay, so I am stopping here for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.